What's up, MK Squad? Welcome back to another legendary top of the moot reaction video, baby. You dig. If you know what I mean. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, man. If you already subscribed, we thank you. You truly appreciate you, and you are a blessing. I just want to let you guys know that. So today, we got One Direction mistreatment. Liam Payne exposes what really happened to them. I'm curious, guys. I'm curious. Comment down below, MK Squad members, family, I should say. What y'all think about this? Have y'all heard any conspiracy of them being mistreated? This is my first time reacting to this. You know, every video I react to is my first time reacting to it. But I'm curious to know because I love One Direction. And you know, I'm gonna get serious. Y'all know I be getting serious. You know, I be getting serious when it comes down to some stuff and how they be mistreated. Sometimes it just be jokes, you know, and I could be over serious. So I appreciate you guys for checking me for that. But comment down any videos below you want us to react to, because we sure will be reacting to them. And I'm not gonna do no more talking. I'm gonna get straight into the video. Let's go.
Liam Payne fans called out One Direction management for mistreating the band. Before I get into the tea, I just want to put out a disclaimer. Please do not send any hate to Liam Payne, Psycho Records, or anyone else involved in this story. This video is simply meant to report on the news and give some insight on the situation. On October 15th, artist Jessie Ware interviewed Liam Payne on her Table Manners podcast. In the beginning, Liam opened up about how his success with One Direction impacted his solo career. It's just super difficult. It's hard to drop those standards once you've had. I mean, when we first released Strip That Down, it did what it did. It just scared the out of me, to be honest, because I had already done it all once, and then we landed on this massive thing and it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it scared out of me. He later shared details of his experience being in One Direction and how their schedule was a mess. I used to get off the stage and then you'd be that high off all the endorphins, whatever, get horrendously drunk, get up at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then do it all again. But we used to come off the stage because at the time, towards the end of it, when we were that busy, it was like you would. We'd write the album in 2 weeks. He added that his management team would sell tour tickets before the band even wrote the album.
Wow, that's a lot of peer pressure.
We had is that they used to sell the tour before we'd written the album. So they'd sell the tour and be, alright, we've sold the stadiums. He said the level of fame he experienced scared him and that
I can understand why it scared them. You know what I mean? Just imagine you got someone promoting, well, you got the company promoting your stuff, right? That don't even exist yet. Didn't even start yet. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy how the company, you know, these guys are very genuine, loving, caring guys and considerate and very heartfelt individuals. Every individual in One Direction. They funny, positive, loving, caring, being themselves, true to themselves. You see what I'm saying? So, for the company to know, dish out tickets, being hungry for money, they're true talents. They're amazing. The money's going to come. You know what I'm saying? They put in the work. You see what I'm saying? But it's just, I feel like it's foul that they're going to try to put out tickets to hurry up and get the money. But then it's like, when you peer pressure, I feel like music is free-spirited. You know what I mean? I feel like it's free-spirited and it comes when it comes. You could be walking down the street, you know, them being constant and consistent and amazing artists they are, and just articulate something off the mind like, whoa, I could use that in a line. I could use that in a punchline. I could make a song out of that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like music speaks from the soul, the spirit, from experience, from inexperience, any type of experience, I should say, any type of learning concept, any type of anything going on in your life. I feel like music is a way to tell your story, and to be peer pressure in telling your story, it could come out in a way that you might regret. You see what I'm saying?
Felt self-destructive because I knew it was going really well. The one thing I say to people is getting into doing all this sort of stuff, the success is the bit that will you more than anything. When it's not successful, you're just kind of working harder at it depending on the person you are. But most of the time, the successful bit, it just scared out of me, and I wanted nothing to do with it. There's no stop button. Like, you got no control over your life, and that's why I lost complete control of everything. And that was the last 2 years have been trying to take control of life. He also said he lost his love for singing for a long time, and that the band was 100% overworked. I had no personal life. I learned nothing about myself. Like, I remember getting into therapy one time, and the guy was like, "What do you like to do?" I didn't know. I haven't got a clue. So I just sat there in the chair going like, what do I actually like? I just lived so long as this like reclusive pop star who's afraid of people, who just stayed inside all the time. At the end of the interview, he shared whether or not he was relieved that One Direction broke up. It was really scary at first, but I needed to stop, definitely. It would have me. Later that month, Liam appeared on the Jonathan Ross show and shared.
I felt like it just the whole One Direction crew was overworked, and I feel like they needed a break, and everybody deserves a break. You see what I'm saying? These men deserve a break. You feel me? All the work they put in, man. You need some time for yourself, because when you start not having time for yourself, just like Liam is saying, you start losing yourself. You can't even find new things about yourself because you're so stuck up and so in the motions of constantly going and going and going. And from him saying, like, you know, the record label constantly having them on a go and peer pressuring them. When you're constantly going through life and like working, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you get caught up so much in emotions of getting things done that you start to lose the sense of yourself and actually having the time to sit back like, okay, it's a day to relax. My body's tired. I just need to relax. You see what I'm saying? And you know, I feel like them having that time, yeah, of course they had fun moments during touring and working and so forth. But I feel like they had less time actually laying back as a family, you know, being One Direction, as amazing as they are, and just, you know, taking care of themselves mentally, spiritually, you know. Yeah, I feel like you just need that time as a person to take care of yourself, you know, because then you start losing yourself. You start losing taking care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you're constantly going. You're constantly, you know, you just caught up in emotions of life, but never got a chance to sit back and just, you know, sit back and just relax for a second. And, you know, and just woosah. You know what I mean? Just woosah.
Details about One Direction breaking up.
In the end, I really genuinely do think that we needed the break that we had, because it was just getting so hectic. Like, we would literally be at award shows and we'd win the most awards on the night and then never see the after party. We would already be on a plane going somewhere else.
Yeah, they're not robots, man. They're not machines.
To do the next show, to go somewhere else, and just by the end of it, it's like, you know, we were kids, man, so it was pretty crazy.
After the interviews, several fans said they were heartbroken and changed their mind about wanting a reunion. I've loved One Direction since 2010, but I don't want them to get back together anymore. Like, their mental health is so much better now, and they seem a lot happier. Like, I mean, I'd love for them to get back together, but I'd rather them not for their own well.
I appreciate this tweet. Whoever this individual is, I appreciate this because it's a simple fact that, and all of us as One Direction family, we all promote the same thing that they promote: peace, love, and positivity, and being genuine and being caring. And I just appreciate that they'll rather see them not be together just for them to be more happier with all the work they put in.
It was all the management. I mean, come on, they were teenagers. They weren't guided right. I'm glad he's being honest about the fact that they were overworked. I even noticed the amount of work they were doing, and it made me uncomfortable just to watch. One Direction were so much more controlled than any other traditional artists. They put out 5 albums in 5 years with 4 highly successful tours. They never got a break. There are so many teenagers that got messed up by the industry. We're very lucky that all 5 of them made it.
That is true. That is true. I'm so happy. I'm spiritual by the grace of God. I believe in God, one God. You know, no disrespect, nothing to individuals who may be atheists and none of that. I respect you, and I respect me. There's, you know, no discrimination, I should say. But I'm a believer in God, so a higher well-being, I should say. I'm just happy that they didn't it didn't push them to the edge to something that can go worse. You see what I'm saying? Because if something's already worse, it could get even, it could build up to be even worse. And then, it could push them to the edge. It could lead to suicidal, mental breakdowns, depression constantly. And I'm not surprised if they're dealing with this sort of aftermath. They just dealing with it stronger. And I'm happy it didn't push them to the edge where, they took their life or something. So that's the most important. That's the most great thing. I know what I'm saying. I appreciate it. I'm grateful that it didn't get to that part, even though it could have get to that point. And I feel like their management should understand that they're not robots.
One of them brought up former One Direction member Zayn Malik and said the public owes him an apology.
Yeah, the management is just, oh yeah, we're selling the tickets. We got all the stadiums. Yeah, it's time to go on tour. But they're not putting in the work. Well, what are you doing? Promoting? But then the promoting comes from third parties. So that's nothing. You can sit down at your desk and promote and relax. You know what I'm saying? Drink a cup of coffee.
Who didn't believe Zayn, who was honest and said these things 5 years before, are now saying here, "Aw, poor Liam. I am feeling sorry for him and all. Oh, please, you double-minded people. You all owe an apology to Zayn. Do people now understand where Zayn was coming from when he left? He wasn't happy in the band, but it wasn't just him. His anxiety got worse, and he started to starve himself while on tour because of how busy they were. Now
it makes sense. Even though they love bananas, they'll eat on stage or whatever. But now it makes sense. If you're constantly on the go, you gotta eat and pick at your food and get back to it when you can and go perform it, then go back to your food and I don't know. Calm down, MK Squad. I don't like my food cold. You feel me? I don't like my food cold, and I don't like when I gotta eat my food and then stop when I'm eating my food and go do something, then come back and eat it again and try to finish it, nicking and picking, running over here trying to handle something and then going back trying to eat and then going back. That's just man. That's just frustrating. That's just very sad, upsetting. You feel me? I don't like my food cold, and who wants to keep eating and nicking and picking at their food just sitting there? You know what I'm saying? So now it makes more sense. I'm not saying I'm right. But because I know they also eat bananas and stuff because they enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like they was eating on stage as well and taking time as well because they weren't eating enough from touring. Like, they didn't have time for themselves to even eat that much. They were constantly on the move. See what I'm saying?
now Liam and other boys are saying the same things. Y'all went down behind closed doors. For context, let's dive into One Direction's history.
I love their suits, yeah. I love their suits. I actually like Zayn's suit. Like, I would wear that first.
In April 2010, the One Direction members met for the first time through the X Factor, a British talent show. They were still teenagers at the time, ranging between 16 to 19 years old. Each of them auditioned for the boys category and were told that they weren't strong enough to go through to the live shows individually. Instead of sending them home, singer and guest judge Nicole Scherzinger suggested that they form a group at the X Factor boot camp. The group was given 2 weeks to get to know each other and work on their music. While they gained popularity in the UK, they finished the X Factor in 3rd place. In January 2011, the band reportedly signed a £2 million contract with Psycho Records. Psycho was founded by record producer and X Factor judge Simon Cowell and was acquired by Sony. In February 2012, One Direction released their first American single, What Makes You Beautiful, and went platinum 4 times in the US alone. That same month, they received an award for the Best British Single at the annual Brit Awards, one of the biggest events in the music industry. In March 2012, the band made history with their Up All Night album, which entered the US Billboard 200 chart at number 1. According to City News, this makes them the first British group to ever debut at number 1 in the US with their first album release. Not even the Beatles or the Spice Girls were able to accomplish this. Between 2013 and 2014, the band received several more awards at the annual American Music Awards, Brit Awards, and Teen Choice Awards. In March 2015, One Direction's management team announced that Zayn was leaving the band on Facebook. After 5 incredible years, Zayn Malik has decided to leave One Direction. Niall, Harry, Liam, and Lewis will continue as a four-piece and look forward to the forthcoming concerts of their world tour and recording their 5th album, due to be released later this year. Zayn says, "My life with One Direction has been more than I could ever have imagined, but after 5 years, I feel like it is now the right time for me to leave the band. I'd like to apologize to the fans if I've let anyone down, but I have to do what feels right in my heart. I am leaving because I want to be a normal 22-year-old who is able to relax and have some private time out of the spotlight. I know I have 4 friends for life in Lewis, Liam, Harry, and Niall. I know they will continue to be the best band in the world." Within 24 hours after the announcement was made, there were more than 3.5 million tweets about Zayn leaving.
Of course.
911, what's your emergency? Zayn Malik has left the band and I'm having trouble breathing today. Me all day. Zayn is leaving One Direction. This is the end of them. This is the end of me. This is the end of the world. I don't think I'm ever gonna be happy again. Hashtag always in our hearts, Zayn Malik. The Manchester Evening News also reported that
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm upset that Zayn leaving, but if it's for the better of him, I support it.
Workers made more than 200 calls to employment law experts requesting compassionate leave. In August 2015, The Sun reported that the band decided to go their separate ways to focus on solo projects. A source told the publication, "The guys have been together for 5 years, which is an incredible run for any boy band. They fully deserve to have at least a year to work on their own projects. There's absolutely no bad blood between them, and they're all 100% behind the decision. It is definitely not a split, and they fully intend to get back together at some time in the future."
I know they will.
That seems to be the end of the situation
I know
for
they
now.
will.
So, what's the big issue? Record producers have a long-standing history of expecting boy bands to become million-dollar making machines at the expense of their health and well-being.
Yes. This reminds me of the check out my recent reaction video with Lalisa from Blackpink, or Lisa. When I actually watched her documentary, it was so like she will work out, like she would actually dance from 3 p.m. to like 4:30 in the morning and barely eat. Like, some of these companies really think that you're a machine. Like, they really think you can keep going and keep going and keep going at their request and never stop. And it's not even just companies. It's not even music industry companies. It could be any company. I seen it from my own experience. You know what I mean? It's just.
In an interview with the Evening Standard, Zayn revealed that management choreographed his every move, including his statement about leaving One Direction.
It's like they have to portray this image, this facade. And I could tell, knowing that One Direction is so genuine, I know it's tough. It's tough for me to swallow this right now, bro. Like, it's tough. Like, I'm just, it's just sad. Like, they had to go through this. Like, I'm just dumbfounded right now.
Days were structured so that you didn't have time to think because you were concentrating so hard on work. I lost my bearings of what time it was, sometimes what day it was. He later described One Direction as a machine and detailed the band's rise to fame and rigorous touring schedule. "I think the back-to-back performances toward the end when we were in stadiums, I wasn't really ever able to enjoy the experience. The machine had gone too fast." Liam followed suit by admitting that he shouldn't have been able to do as many shows as the band did, and that he would drink before going on stage to manage the stress. Going out and putting that happy smile on my face and singing the songs, honestly, sometimes it was like putting on one of those costumes, going out there, and underneath the costume, people don't really see what's going on.
Yeah.
In 2010, journalist and critic Philip Hensher called the X Factor a ruthless money-making machine and revealed the talent show's lucrative sponsorship deals, upwards of $75 million. He highlighted that having artists compete with each other is one of the main ways they can gain success with the public. It's clear why the industry likes it. It is predictable, though not infallible, and it creates an enormous revenue stream out of the whole process of development and promotion, so that whether the eventual single sells or not hardly matters anymore. He also highlighted that producers know that their audience wants a story, and that every single person that watches the X Factor is a target of relentless selling. On November 4th, record producer Simon Cowell announced that he'll be launching a new show called X Factor the Band. In an interview with The Sun, he said his business is getting bigger than ever before, and that he wants to find a new band to compete with the K-pop industry. K-pop is ruling the world. This is a show to find a band to launch UK pop. It's more than winning a record contract, it's starting a new music wave. He added that every competing group will be put together by him, just like One Direction, Little Mix, and Fifth Harmony. But this isn't the first time boy bands have been preyed upon by the rich and powerful. Here are some other cases. In the documentary The Boy Band Con, The Lou Pearlman Story, the former Backstreet Boys and NSYNC members detail how their rise to fame became one of the largest Ponzi schemes in American history. In the early 90s, record producer and con artist Lou Pearlman formed both bands and manipulated them into becoming rivals. Similar to One Direction, most of the members were teenagers at the time, ranging between 13 to 24 years old. In the beginning of the documentary, the former members detailed their intense boot camp schedule. We were working our off, day in and day night. Lou had these gondola hangars for his airships, no air conditioning in there, it was hot as balls. We would learn how to dance, we would do choreography, and we would learn how to sing on a microphone without being out of breath. Probably rehearse 6 to 8 hours a day in there. I'm surprised none of us ever got heat stroke. You're talking Orlando, Florida in August. Co-founder of Teen
Florida stay hot.
Lori Majewski said no one worked harder than the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and they never got a day off. In the rare case that they did, they were scheduled to appear at photo shoots. She also said how much money the band's management team made back then. It was cha-ching. I mean, the amount of money that was being made, you can't even imagine because we don't sell records like that today. You know, most people today, they buy 1 or 2 records a year. Back in the teen pop period, they were buying 5 a week. According to reports, Backstreet Boys is the best-selling boy band of all time and has sold 100 million albums. In comparison, NSYNC has sold 28.8.
It's just sad how they look at these individuals like dollar signs. Like this should be like unlawful, man. This shit.
Both are listed as 2 of the top boy bands.
Like, I don't understand some of the laws sometimes. Even as a regular worker, like it's required to have a lunch break, right? But then it's very shocking that you can have a lunch break, right? So-called 30 minutes or whatever. You're required to have a lunch break. But then a lunch break can either be broken up or like say for example, a manager give you a lunch break. But we were short. I need you to be a little bit versatile, or I need you a little bit be more like. Can you be more adjusted to the situation? We're short. You have a little bit of lunch break in here, then you can have the rest of your lunch break here, and it's like I feel like sometimes the laws could be more adjusted in the sense of being more considerate of just essential human being needs. Like, we need time for ourselves, you see what I'm saying? I don't stand for a 7-day work week. I don't think that should exist, you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people get tired. People get tired and you just need a day to sit in the tub with Epsom salt, relax, do something, whatever hobby you like to do. Read a book, whatever, you see what I'm saying? Listen to music and relax. You see what I'm saying? But the way the system is adjusted is you have jobs and so forth that minimum wage is not even affordable, so you have no choice to not have no time for yourself. You see what I'm saying? The same way these guys are doing what they love. The Backstreet Boy band, One Direction, you got the K-pop group, you got Little Mix, all these type of wonderful, amazing artists and creative artists. But the simple fact is, they're so manipulated early on and just basically seen as dollar signs for companies. But the simple fact is, where is the appreciation for them as individuals and their needs? It's always company needs. Why is that in the music industry? I don't know, but I feel like it's very, very, it's very unfair and it's very fraudulent how the music industry has to use this persona to feel as though, we take good care of our artists, they're amazing, they're this and that. But the way this woman is constantly talking about how the Backstreet Boys, you don't see that much this year, but we used to sell out five records a day. Like, we used to sell out so many records that, like, come on, man, it was cha-ching. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it just professional facades to try to seem like she's proud of her band group and so forth, but she's really just proud of the money that's coming. She doesn't appreciate them.
Of all time.
I never in her whole speech when she just said, like, literally, look, she just said people today buy 1 or 2 records a year. Back in teen pop period, they were buying 5 a week. By the end of the day, where's the thank you? I don't even see a thank you in these speeches for these individuals. Shouting them out individually. You know what I mean? They deserve that. They earned their name. Respect their name. You see what I'm saying?
Back in the teen pop period, they were buying 5 a week. According to reports, Backstreet Boys
Sorry guys, I rewinded it a little bit.
Time and has sold 100 million.
Just to clarify what she was saying, and I don't like making up stuff, you know what I'm saying? I like to say the exact words, quote unquote, what was
albums. In comparison, NSYNC has sold 28.8 million albums. Both are listed as 2 of the top boy bands of all time. Despite reaching worldwide success from selling out stadiums and arenas, the Backstreet Boys weren't fairly compensated.
You see?
Most of the money made went to their record producer, Lou. In their first 4 years as a band, his company made about $10 million in revenue. The band only received a cumulative $300,000, with AJ revealing
this is a work first period. It's not even the music industry. The same way, like, you know, I just used that example for minimum wage. Yes, we have decent jobs out there, but the simple fact is, if you have a job that's only paying you just to make it out, or just to make just finally making ends meet, our essential, I feel like as a human being, our essential needs is food, water, warmth, love, and shelter. Why do those things have to be a sort of compensation that, I understand we have to work for something, but they're the essential needs for us as human beings. We should automatically have those things by any means. You see what I'm saying? Of course we gotta work. Now, I can understand we gotta work to provide for ourselves and to go get those things and provide to get food. But I feel like there should always be shelters, like as in homes, everywhere for anyone. And minimum wage should be at its point where we can afford our living and have that essential human right to have time for ourselves and not to basically work ourselves to death. Now, I'm not saying work in this period. I'm not going around or avoiding, you putting in the work, because you have to put in the work. You have to put in some type of work to get something in return. You can't just expect someone to give it to you or money to fall off a tree. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the simple things, it should be more simpler. Money, when you get paid working a job, you should be able to afford your living. You should be able to afford to get clothes. To be able to afford to get a home. You see what I'm saying? Be able to afford to get food. You see what I'm saying? Those type of things. They're just human rights, and this is how we live as humans, I feel as though. Other than that, if someone's putting in extra work or the work, you know what I'm saying, or want to put in extra work at their job or whatever they're passionate about, compensate them fairly all across the board. If they want to put in extra work, let them go put in extra work. They'll succeed. They'll just go farther than others. Others who are just comfortable with the little things of, what I just said, of having affordable, having decent pay so you can afford living. If you just want to do that just to make sure you're comfortable, then fine. But some people want to be extraordinary. You see what I'm saying? The Backstreet Boys are an extraordinary band. Why are you just compensating them to just barely be able to afford their rent? But you're compensating the record producer. That doesn't make no sense.
In the boy band.
If I was dumb, I mess around and say, you know what? Let us produce the record. We basically producing the record. Might as well just let us produce everything else. Because I would have, just eliminate the record producer, because the record producer, what is he doing? Mixing and master the song. Didn't mean he created the song. Didn't put his artistic abilities to the song, where he just put his little touch-up enhancements. They could do that themselves. Just grab a computer, they can learn that themselves. They're very talented. But it's just, the way they set these things up is
upon that some of the members
I don't
of the
know,
band
guys.
could barely
Sorry for
pay their
rambling. It's
rent.
just very
NSYNC
sad,
weren't
man.
fairly
It's
compensated
unfair.
either, and were given a mere $35 a day. After 2 years of touring and promoting their first album, they received their first checks and were shocked at the amount.
You're going across the world and you're getting $35 a day. Just imagine. Just imagine $35 a day. And think about it. Taxes go up, inflation and everything else. Stuff changed. The price of living goes
Up
up.
the envelope, I see the check, and oh my gosh, my heart sunk. I couldn't believe the number I was looking at. The check was $10,000. And not to sound ungrateful, but when you compare it to how many hours we had to put into this group for years, it didn't even touch minimum wage.
It's alright though. It's alright though, because they're going to get their blessings and all the work they put in from being unfairly compensated. And who's going to win in the long haul? The ones who actually put in the work and actually got retaliated against for no reason.
Along with being swindled, the former band members were expected
They're basically
to attend
punishing these
every
guys.
appearance.
One Direction,
They would go
all of
door
them.
to door to every
For what reason? Because of greed.
single solitary radio station and do every radio interview. We would sing a cappella on the radio stations. When we released our first US album, things started to really pick up, and in doing so, it wouldn't go away. In an interview with Rolling Stone,
Ridiculous,
former
man.
Backstreet Boys member Brian Littrell said he felt pressured to put his responsibilities to the band before his health. I delayed surgery twice because of the tours. I mean, the saddest thing is that I scheduled open heart surgery around my work schedule. It was like nobody really cared or felt that it was important because the career was moving on. He added that 8 weeks after his surgery, he performed on stage and that oxygen tanks were kept nearby at all times in case he needed to use them. Years later, he was diagnosed with muscle tension dysphonia, a condition that causes the muscles around the voice box to constrict. The Backstreet Boys and NSYNC later sued Lou. For NSYNC, the decision was made after former NSYNC member JC Chasez asked his
They have to compensate him, man.
uncle to take a look at the band's contract. The deeper they dug, the worse it got, and it was just this webs upon webs of robbery. He said, "This is one of the worst contracts I've ever seen in music history, and y'all need to try and get out of this."
Nowadays, that's why I'm happy artists are moving to being more independent.
In the end, both bands
can
were
market
able to break
yourself.
their contracts with Lou, though he was
It's
still
just the fact that the temptation comes in. These music industries come with you and say, "Oh my goodness, a $2 million contract." Basically, it's a loan, and you have to pay that back within your hard work over time. And they're so talented, that's nothing. But now, even if they did pay the loan back, of course they did over $2 million. You see what I'm saying? But the simple fact is, now they're just overworking them unjustly. For what? They're very talented. They will. It's just, that's what it is. That's what a contract is. They give you the $2 million up front, or whatever the case may be. I can understand they come from very low, or they come from out the mud, from the ground, build the band up, worked hard, you know, excited about this contract to have some money in their pockets to be able to survive and have a better living, which they deserve. And you know, it's like a loan. Yes, they'll pay it back within their hard work and their touring and so forth. But that's nothing, because that's why they had belief in them in the first place, to give them the contract. But that doesn't mean overwork them to the simple fact that the company just want more compensation. Okay, they give them $2 million contract. They're going to make sure they get over $2 million and double it. But it's unfair. So it's still unfair, unjust to overwork these individuals. They're humans. They're special individuals, just like any individual.
Still able to receive 1/6 of the Backstreet Boys' earnings. When he passed away, the New York Times reported that almost all of the artists that he worked with were young men, and some accused him of inappropriate behavior. This was reportedly common among other bands. According to E! News, the Jonas Brothers, B2K, LFO, and New Kids on the Block allegedly experienced the same pressure and mistreatment. Overall, what Liam and his former band members went through was heartbreaking. They were teenagers when they met each other at the X Factor boot camp and were pressured into working non-stop. According to child development expert Nancy Carlson Page, the younger a kid is when he or she gets into this business, the more likely it will be damaging because their needs are not met. The basic needs of childhood have nothing to do with working or the entertainment industry. A young child doesn't even understand what the entertainment industry is.
I agree.
More often than not, management management is
And if they don't understand, that doesn't mean manipulate and misguide them. And that's basically what this music industry was doing.
overly focused on
For their
protecting
own
band's
selfish
look,
needs.
voice, and every
Not about
move.
the
This
human
leads
growth
to
in these
members having to
individuals.
work non-stop and risk damaging their mental and physical health. What do you think about this story? Do you think boy bands should make a comeback and that the industry needs a change?
Yes.
Let me know in the comments below.
Guys, let me know in the comments below. Do you believe boy bands should come back and make an industry change? I believe, this is mine, I believe yes. But I feel like they should go more independent and knock these music industries off their socks, bro. And show them all what it means to be appreciated. Because they can promote themselves. Marketing is so easy now. You can promote yourself on YouTube. You can promote yourself on Instagram, Facebook. It's making it, the generation is getting more saturated with content creators, amazing content creators at that, that's learning how to market themselves, that's learning how to be themselves, and it's amazing, man. So comment down below what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. It was heartbreaking to me, man. It was heartbreaking, but it actually gave some knowledge that I will push and promote every single video for any music industry artist I react to, and their come up, and their funny moments, sad moments, iconic moments. I will promote that music industry individuals are amazing and they should promote themselves and be independent and remain strong as special artists they are. Peace.